Alright, hi guys, welcome back. My name's Kuhn. I'm going through and collecting everything in Warcraft on all 12 classes. And I wanted to start a FAQ, frequently asked questions series, where I can go through and kind of give a little bit more detail for questions that get brought up a little bit frequently on Twitch while I'm live. Um, I'll go into another video as far as the detail of it, but I want to be able to go through and provide, for someone that's first time seeing what I'm doing, or maybe I've missed a good bit, a little bit more detailed answer without saying, say 5 minute speech or so every time. So for this one, we're just going to get into the question here that I typically get is, why am I leveling so many professions? If we go through and we look at this is about 30 different characters worth of professions. So, number one, why are we leveling so much mining, so much herbalism, so much skinning? Two, why are we leveling professions as a whole? So, the too long didn't read TLDR answer is for more chances at recipes. So, if you're not really too interested in the rest of it, there you go. But to provide a little bit more detail with it, that was just the 30 characters, by the way. So what's going to happen is that we're leveling. The reason, we'll take the two questions and split them up. So the first one is, why are we leveling up mining and herbalism and skinning? In short, we're trying to go through and gather materials for, let's say, for example, vanilla, all of the vanilla crafting professions. Whether it's blacksmithing, whether it's jewel crafting, whatever the case may be. Instead of buying all the materials off the auction house, that's why we're doing this. It's kind of like a multiple birds with one stone type of impact here, where as we're leveling up our professions, our gathering professions, we're also going through and getting a lot of materials, and then we can then use those for the crafting professions. So that's kind of why we're doing that. Just gathering and crafting going in tandem together. So why are we going through and getting more than one crafting profession? So, if I go over here and look at this, why do we have more than one alchemist? Why do we have 9 engineers? Why so many? So the first question, or the first answer, there's 3. The first one is going to be this list right here. There's some faction specific, Horde and Alliance, faction specific, and then there's some class specific recipes only. So, for example, the Shaman has a Shaman only inscription recipe that pops in the Grand. Same thing for the Druid in, I think it's Sunwell. Yeah, the Druid, the Paladin, the Shaman, the Priest, all in Sunwell. So there's about, last I talked to a few people in chat, about 104 that are specific in that nature. So that's going to naturally divide up who's able to have what. So if we go back over here, for example, because of what we just looked at, we know that we need to have a Shaman here as a scribe, and then again as an engineer. That's why you had the Paladin as an engineer as well. So that's kind of why. The next reason is that sometimes there's dailies that are required to go through and buy recipes. And if you're looking at a profession such as jewel crafting, if you take one character and try to get all those recipes, which there's nothing wrong with, people do that, it could take upwards of 2 years to get all those recipes with all those dailies. So what I've done in an effort to kind of expedite that a little bit is I have 5 jewel crafters. So in theory, as far as dailies are concerned, it should take about 20% of the time, but it's just something to go through and expedite the process a little bit faster. And then lastly, maybe most important, is that there are rare drop recipes that are BOP. BOP meaning buy on don't pick up, as opposed to BOE, buy on equip. BOP recipes that drop from dungeons or raids where you only have 1 shot per day or 1 shot per week. So let's just say, as an example, in Molten Core, there's an engineering recipe, there's a blacksmithing recipe that is fairly rare, to be honest. I don't know if it's like 1%, 2%, 3% drop, but it's fairly rare. So that being said, if we go in and we take the Paladin here, for example, that means we get 52 shots at that per year, assuming nothing goes wrong, assuming we don't forget or anything like that. So if we can go through and have 2 engineers, that's essentially doubling our chances. So going through and having multiple characters to run through there and get those recipes like that is really beneficial. And you might be asking, like, well, yeah, so what? What does that have to do with leveling them up? Because sometimes, whenever those recipes drop, they require you to have max proficiency in that profession. So, say for example, we'll just make up engineering pattern A drops in Molten Core. If that has a requirement of 300 engineering in order to be able to learn it, that means that character that's running for it should have max engineering. Same thing is true for Burning Crusade patterns, Wrath patterns, stuff like that. Because otherwise, if we ran a character through, even if he's a blacksmith, it does us no good to actually get that recipe to drop if we can't learn it. So this is preemptively getting ahead of the curve in that manner to go through and see what we can do as far as just setting ourselves up. So a lot of like indirect progress right now in the sense of just setting ourselves up for success in the future. It is a little bit time intensive, a little bit time heavy, but hopefully that gives a little bit more clarity as far as like why we're going about this the way we are. I'll link the spreadsheet here in the description if you want, but hopefully, like I said, that answers the question. But if you have any other questions, feel free to, stop by Discord, Twitch, whatever. Links are everywhere. So until the next time, you guys have a good one. I'll see you later.